Hello, this is my early spring garden tour. This here is my little succulent patch on my deck. Definitely needs some cleaning up. That there is a pepper plant on the far right that needs some help. Those are mums that have passed, but the plant is still alive under it. They survived the winter. I'm very excited about that. I really love this little frog. He's so happy. And when the succulents really gets going, it looks like he has a crazy hairdo. It's very fun. That is our grill. There's the car. Here's the window box. It also has some mums in it. I need to figure out a better way to deal with and water this planter box. When the car is underneath it, it can be really problematic with water and dirt falling onto the car. This definitely needs a lot of help. That's mostly oregano and a lavender in that little pot there. There's more mums and some mint in that pot there. There's our trellis. I really like the little bit of privacy that this trellis gives. There's some rosemary that survived it. Rosemary is a tender perennial. Growing up in California, I thought that it was a perennial, but no, it can actually die here, but we had a mild winter, so it seems happy. Here are our tulips. We planted a crazy number of tulips this past fall, and they seem to be coming up very happily. I'm quite excited to see how they come out. We got them from Brex. They're supposed to be perennial tulips, so fingers crossed. I don't know if you saw my little garden gnome there. He's very fun. Here's the back area. So above the garage there is where I think I'm going to pan up. Yep, that's our deck where I was just showing you. So right in front of us is a lilac bush that I think it's 3 years old now. And it seems to be doing pretty well in the back here. I have two more in the front that don't get nearly as much sun, and they're not as happy. Here it is again. There's the lilac, and there's a rose next to it that hasn't bloomed yet, but it's supposed to be a really pretty peach rose that I'm very excited to turn out. That is some mint in that pot. This is a raspberry bush that it does produce fruit, but it's very seedy and not a lot of flesh. I'm not sure what we should do differently to help it produce more fruit, more fleshy fruit. That's a patch of mint that I have there. And yeah, this whole area needs to be thinned of its mint. I like the mint because it does deter rodents from what I've heard. So this is our back corner. It used to be completely filled with ivy, and several years ago we took it all out. It was quite a process. This is the side of our house. On the right there, growing on the fence, is honeysuckle, Native American honeysuckle. It doesn't have much of a scent, but it is a beautiful plant, very healthy, and lots of little yellowy orange flowers. That's a red rose bush, and this is a pink rose bush that I did not prune correctly. It needs a lot of help. This is a little white rose that has been there for several years, and it does flower, but it hasn't thrived, and I think it's just not getting enough sun. The dogwood tree there, it shades it a lot once its canopy is filled out. Sorry. This is our rosemary bush, and that can't really see its outline yet. It just looks like sticks, but that's a beautiful light lavender rose. And on the fence, we're going to have a beautiful clematis. It has survived. You can't really see it too well in this. All along this fence here on the top, I have trained a wisteria that has not flowered very well at all. I've hardly had any wisteria flowers, like maybe 4 or 5 the whole time I've been here. Early on, it was definitely strangled by all of the ivy. But once the ivy was gone, the wisteria is definitely able to take over. This is our lovely compost pile. I think for 2 years now I've said this is the last year we're going to have this compost. But it still has a lot of dirt in there to cook up, so I'm just not going to add to it anymore. Just water it when we get the hose turned back on. Now this here is our tulip patch. So these are, I think, just annual tulips. So I'm going to use this as sort of a cutting garden. Pretty excited. It looks like they're going to come up. And this is another raised bed. This doesn't have anything in it at the moment, but we'll probably plant some tomatoes and zucchini in here once the weather warms up some more. And this is Burble's potty. There's our raised beds. I'll actually be really happy once that compost pile goes away so that we can grow some food there. This is our butterfly garden, and it definitely needs to be cleaned up. Wowzer. What a mess, right? I left a lot of these plants that had gone by on purpose. I left them, I did thin it out a lot last fall, but I wanted to leave something for the birds, and I wanted it to reseed. I think that there's a lot of Queen Anne's lace there, and Queen Anne's lace I think is biannual, so I wanted to be sure it reseeded. That there on that little lattice fence is a yellow climbing rose that I can't seem to get to really climb very well. This bush here on the right is a burning bush. It is now a naked bush, but it will be a burning bush. Now these roses have these wonderful little tiny pink roses. They're so great. See all those? Those are tulips coming up, and one little daylily. I love this retaining wall. We have so much moss and sedum. It's really pretty, this little succulent that comes back every year. I did have a lot of coneflowers, but they got a disease. Yellow asters is the disease they got, so I had to take them all out. This, I can't remember the name of it, but I wanted to get a rhododendron, but they didn't have any that I liked for a price that I liked, so I got this plant instead. It likes similar soil to rhododendron, so it should be happy in that corner. There again is the burning bush. And this is another of Burble's potties. There's some irises there. The spiky, they're coming up there. There's some phlox in this planter box. And there's some more there toward the front of the retaining wall. Over there in the mow strip, that is no longer a mow strip, that is forsythia. We have 3 really healthy, happy forsythia plants there. There, I'm showing you now. Those are our healthy, happy forsythia plants. And then in between them, there's 2 in the tomato cages there. There's lilacs in there that just have not thrived. They're the same kind, and they were planted at the same time as the one in the back, and they are not doing well. I'm thinking they're just not getting enough sun. So here we have, this is holly and some boxwoods, and this just isn't the right place for them. The holly doesn't berry either, so I think I'm going to move it someplace else. There, in this area here, this is where my 3 peonies are. And there's another one a little bit farther to the left that's a different, I think these are white peonies, and there's one Sarah Bernhardt that hasn't really flowered yet. I'm hopeful that this year it will. So yeah, I'm going to move these boxwoods, and I'm going to give away the holly. It's the burning bush and our air conditioner. So yeah, this little area needs a little bit of help. It's just kind of higgledy-piggledy, and I want to just get it a little bit tidied up. Here's the view from our stoop, from our front door. Hope you enjoyed.